This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Ned Fulmer and his wife Ariel Fulmer completely eviscerate him on camera. A lot has happened since the last time I recorded one of these, and we are only 10 minutes into this damn video, so we are going to finish this thing. However, camera issues aside, I do believe my laptop is dying, so please excuse it while it slowly gives up the ghost. But we're going to get through this. And I'm still sticking to my 10-minute intervals because I talk a lot. And this 10-minute segment is going to be a lot, I think, because this is the moment that Ariel pushes back on Ned the hardest. And we're actually going to get into it pretty early on. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's been a minute since I've watched this. It's been a minute since I've watched the Observe and the Psychology in Seattle videos. I do still have my notes. So if I repeat myself in this video, it's just work with me. I apologize. I have my notes. We will be picking up on where we left off, which I think I'm actually going to back it up to about 10 minutes in, just to kind of overlap us a little bit with the last video. And again, I'm just apologizing for the amount of time that has lapsed between these, but eventually, once the playlist is up, you'll be able to watch the whole thing and you'll never know. But we are getting through the rest of these, and we are going to get through them before the end of November. Watch me have to eat crow on that one. Anyway, Ned has done a lot since this episode has gone out. There's been a bunch of new episodes of his podcast that have gone out. I've not listened to any of them, but it seems like his shtick is going to be talking with other people who have had moments of disgrace that they've tried to rebound from. It seems like a cool idea. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a fascinating concept to talk to other people who have hit a, rock bottom. That's an interesting idea to find out, how do you recover from being hardcore canceled? I'm always fascinated by that idea. But, because I'm always like, what do you do now? Ned is trying to recreate himself. He is trying to recreate his career. He is trying to recreate the Try Guys. He's trying to do that without saying the word try. It's not going well from what I can tell, but he's still pushing forward, which I'm fascinated by. And also, I'm really curious how this is all going to work out, because he's on the one hand, he's not taking no for an answer, but at the same time, people are not being receptive. So I'm just curious if, if he just keeps pushing, if he just keeps I don't care, I'm just going to keep doing it until it just works. Because that's kind of how it feels what he's doing. Or if eventually he's just going to be fuck it, people just hate it. And what is he going to do then? Is he going to lean into it or what? But this guy just cannot not be the center of attention. And I find that absolutely fascinating. And it all starts, this whole rebrand of his starts with him using his wife, Ariel, as his launching pad. And this is a dark anthropology video. We are going to be using the 8 principles that we are over here hammering into shape. I've had a couple of you reach out to me and through the comment section and through email and stuff, asking me to help you out with research and stuff like that. My research days are over. I am an old woman. And I really do appreciate when you guys say those kind of things, because it does make me feel special. But I want to encourage y'all to take this shit and run with it. By all means, I think there is fascinating stuff here, especially when it comes to, not just Ned and the internet and social media and the concepts of manipulation throughout that. I mean, I think that's all very fascinating, obviously. But also other aspects of girl world and things that I normally cover on other channels. Take this and run with it. Do it. This is where society is living right now. this is anthropology. There is a strong argument that this is archaeology. And there's been, both of these fields have been developing for, I don't know, 2 decades at this point. Do it. Just do it. Don't worry about it. Run with it. Okay? You don't have to ask my permission. Kill it, man. Just go. And I really do appreciate when y'all email me and ask me these things, or when you hit me up in the comment section and ask me these things. I do appreciate it, but man, I'm too old for this stuff. This is a young man's game. This is a young woman's game. This is a young person's game. Go for it. Anyway, that being said, I just wanted to address that because I'd got a couple of those comments recently, and I was just like, I feel good about it, but I don't have that kind of energy anymore. It takes energy, and I just don't have it. All right, anyway, getting into this. We're going to pick up at 10 minutes in. I know it says 10:30 here. All right, we're going to pick up at 10 minutes and 3 seconds in because I'm not going to finagle with it that much. I don't honestly remember, and that's why we're backing up. But we're going to overlap a little bit with the last video, and we're going to run from there. We're going to end somewhere around minute 20, hopefully. And then I don't care how long the video is. We're going to stop there. So, and then we're going to jump in to the next 10 minutes. Unless for some strange reason I only managed to get 30 minutes of recording time, which I highly doubt. Anyway, thank you to everybody who's been supporting this channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. I'm enjoying this, so I hope you guys are also enjoying the Ned Fulmer coverage. I feel like Ned's a lol cow. I don't know how else to put that to you all. I think Ned is very much, and this is like the worst pause face I could have picked. I think Ned's a lol cow. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Ned's a lol cow. And I think he's not a squirrel, don't get me wrong, but I think he very much fits into the lol cow category. I'm going to speed him up at 125. So if they seem particularly animated, that's why. I will make comments about body language and nonverbal communication. I watch Observe. I love them. I've read all of the books that Observe has in his background, so there you have it. I will mention Observe. I will mention Psychology in Seattle as we go through this, so just FYI.
All of this is pretty outdated. And 3, don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
You
Just
probably don't want to
get
Google
to know me first.
Oh, okay. I remember where we're at now. They had just talked about the difficulties they have making friends because of all of the information about the two of them on the internet. Ned was trying to relate to Ariel's comment about how she has a hard time making real life friends because if you Google her, like the first things that pop up are Ned's affair and Ned's infidelity. And that's like the first thing you will find if you Google her. Who does that? I haven't made a friend in a long time because, you know, as you get older, you don't really do that so much. But I can't remember Googling a person that I had the intention of being friendly with in a very long, like ever. Now, Googling celebrities, that's one thing. But if Ariel walked up to me, I wouldn't know her from Adam. I would have no reason to Google her. So I just think that's a weird thing. But I'm also like Gen X millennial cusp. So maybe I'm just too old for that behavior. I don't live in social media. So maybe it's just a generational thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want to be
sorry,
just sort of seen as the sum of your mistakes for me or the sum of your past for you.
Right.
The problem here, though, Ned, is you are the sum of your mistakes. That's the problem, though. I'm going to try to squeeze my notes in here. And that's... here, we're froze on this face again. And that's the problem that Ned is having, I think, in my opinion, anthropologist, is that Ned is getting judged for the sum of his mistakes because, to my understanding, this was not a one-time fling. This was an ongoing affair that came out, and people obviously were not pleased. So he is being judged for it. and he is being seen for his betrayal of his wife, who they have children through. And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people who are not okay with that. I mean, for obvious reasons, not okay with that kind of behavior. And, you know, he built his entire image on the Try Guys as the wife guy, which, whatever that means, didn't work when you cheated on the wife, you know?
And the challenging thing is it's been complicated for a while. I mean, we are still friends. We have children together. We go on trips together.
Right.
Like, you know, there's a spectrum of being together, not together.
This is an interesting statement that Ned makes, and I think I hit on it in the last video, was that Ned doesn't appear to want to separate from Ariel. Ariel uses language that definitely sounds like she has separated herself as an individual from Ned. Yes, they still have children together, but her language leaves him out of her day-to-day. Ned still uses language that includes her, that makes them a couple still. Like, he just used, it's a spectrum. It's not, though. It's really not. You guys have kids together, so you have that connection, and you will always have that connection, but you aren't together. You may, I guess, co-parent. I don't know how this works. I don't have kids and I'm not divorced. You may end up co-parenting because obviously you two seem to both want to be in your children's lives, and she doesn't seem to have any interest in blocking him from doing that. So, but it sounds like she has custody, the more dominant custody. I don't know. I'm guessing. It's just going off of what I'm hearing. But when it comes to the two of them as a couple, if I'm just talking about Ned and Ariel and I'm not talking about their kids, Ned does not seem to want to face the facts that Ned is no longer in possession of Ariel as a partner, or his wife in particular, which kind of makes me wonder, because I never watched the Try Guys really. I mean, I caught things here and there, but I was never a consumer of their products. And so, like, I vaguely knew who Ned was. I had to look him up when you all started asking me about this. I'm so sorry this is taking me so long. But it kind of makes me wonder, if I went back and went through all of the old Try Guy stuff and I watched particularly Ned talk about his wife, if I wouldn't hear language and see behavior that would make me go, oh, he views her as a possession. It's not, oh, my co-partner, you know, the person with whom I share my life. It would be, oh, this is my possession, my wife, kind of behavior and language. It kind of makes me wonder that I would hear that and see that kind of behavior towards Ariel from Ned, because that's kind of what I'm hearing now. And it's kind of the behavior I'm seeing now. Ned doesn't necessarily view Ariel as a separate entity. He sees Ariel, in my opinion, he seems to see and speak of Ariel as if she is an extension of himself. And I think that might be why he's having such a hard time with this, because this expression that he has right now, speaking to her, is contempt that he has on his face right now. And when I know we spoke about Observe, and Observe talks about nonverbal language, which includes body language and expressions. And when Observe went over this whole video himself and managed to put that into a half hour, which one of us is the professional? Observe talked about Ned's submissive body language, about how Ned has his shoulders rolled forward. And when they pan out, you'll see he's got his hands in his lap and he's hunched forward, and he has a very submissive overall body language, especially when he's talking to Ariel. And when you look and see Ariel, she's kind of spread out on the couch. She looks a lot more relaxed, and you'll hear in her voice she sounds a bit more confident. You'll hear in his voice he's got a lower tonal range. He'll use a verbal fry a lot, and we talked about that in the very first video. but sometimes a verbal fry can be used as kind of like a vulnerability thing. But his micro expressions and his little facial expressions when he talks to her, you'll see a lot of contempt, and you'll see a lot of, I won't say disgust, but definitely disapproval, because she is free of him. This is just my opinion. I can be completely wrong, and you can disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. Anyway.
Right.
Like there's ways in which we're together, but it's like the way that everyone wants to know, like, are you guys still like an item?
And see, he's very excited. Like, are you guys an item? Because he wants them to be an item, but they're not. And she's not going to give it to him.
Are you guys still a couple?
See, he's like, it's like he's trying to trap her right now on this podcast. It's like he's trying to trap her into saying yes.
Like, no. We really haven't been at all this last 3 years.
And no, we really haven't been at all, because you're not. You're divorced. You have been. She's got no interest in you. But he can't use that finality. He can't use final language when he talks about it, because it's not final to him.
No, we haven't.
Like, there's moments when we kind of tried, but
Yeah, see, he's still trying. He's still trying to get her. Now, they've been in couples therapy. They've gone to couples therapy over this.
just because you go to a Taylor Swift concert together doesn't mean that you're, that
Doesn't mean
all
that
is
you're
forgiven and you're
No, like, people ask me, like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And
Her facial expressions during this are just absolutely phenomenal, and her response to this is just absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, the answer is no, absolutely not. How can you forgive somebody for lying to you, for cheating on you? No, fuck no. I don't even.
Watching him process what she has said, because up to this point, he has been trying to manipulate this conversation. And I've pointed it out in the last few videos how this has been going. Not only has she shut all of that down really hard, really fast, her confidence in that expression, no, fuck no, absolutely not. She makes eye contact with him, like, I think twice in that whole expression there, in that way that's like, we have discussed this. She's like, she makes eye contact with him. She shakes her head. Her expression, there's no hesitation. Her body language does not shift. She feels no need to like hide in that response to him. So she's very confident in that response to him about that. She's like, no. But you'll see him over here. He's not happy about that response. I mean, look at it. Look at his face and the way his lips are drawn in tight. His mouth is turned down. He's maintaining that submissive body language, but he does that through the entire video. So his body language, his overall language right there, it doesn't shift very much. They're both frozen in their like posture throughout most of the video. They're not very expressive there, but their faces say so much and their tone of voice says so much. I'm just very impressed with this. And this is a very important moment in the podcast that happens at like 11:30, because this is like the hardest blow for Ned to take, because up to this point he's been just kind of like, oh, but we tried to be a couple, didn't we? But we went to a Taylor Swift concert together, and I mean, there's a spectrum of being together. I mean, we could get back together. And she's like, fuck no, I'm not going to forgive you. We're not getting back together. I mean, and that not only tells Ned what he's clearly heard before, because again, couples therapy, but this tells the audience as well. We talk about the parasocial relationship that Ned seems to have, this almost parasitic intimacy that Ned seems to have with his audience. Remember, he apologized to his audience before he apologized to his wife at the beginning of this episode. But this solidifies for the audience, for Ariel, that no, they are never, ever, ever getting back together. Since we brought up Taylor Swift.
Sorry, I saw red for a minute. It's like, no, the answer is no.
Probably because she's had to go over this multiple times with him. And again, like, you can see the anger in her face and just the overall, like, exasperation of having to repeat herself here.
But also I feel like forgiveness isn't the goal at this point.
Mm.
You know, we've been together for a long time. And you are the father of my two beautiful children. And we know each other really well. And I you know, we've worked through a lot of stuff.
And you can see a lot of sorrow in her face when she's saying these things.
And the fact that I can be around you and still, like, have a good time and, like, enjoy spending time with you and enjoy spending time with my kids, like, I think that's a win.
Yeah. It's taken a lot of hard work to do that.
Yeah.
And you could see that where she genuinely thinks that she is giving him, like, she's compromising with him. He isn't happy with that. You can see that this isn't the face of somebody who agrees that that's enough.
It's kind of, as we've adjusted, we've recalibrated our relationship more towards a platonic friendship, and then, you know, it's just been challenging. But, like, I think we're getting to a point of sort of celebrating that and really, like, embracing it and accepting it for what it is, as we are, like, grieving the past. And, you know, it's hard to hear you saying, like, fuck no, I don't.
I mean, this is honesty. He's honest. He does not like hearing her say that.
Forgive you. But of course I get it. I mean, you're still, as much progress as we've had, you're still very angry.
Yeah, of course I'm angry. You know, we're talking about, like, not having sat in this position for 3 years, you know, and, like, yeah, of course I'm still angry. We lost a lot. There was a lot that happened 3 years ago. It was, I mean, I found out about your affair from...
Sorry about that.
The fans. I mean, and I was so blindsided that somebody sent me a picture, and I couldn't. It was like my brain couldn't compute, and I
This is sped up, by the way. That's how hard it is for her to get through this. Going back to Ned saying, it was hard to hear you say, fuck no, I don't forgive you, but you're still very angry. This is, again, Ned trying to strategically play the victim card here. He's trying to shift the conversation to his feelings. But again, you'll notice that Ariel won't let him have it. Like, she's bringing it back around to how her feelings were when she found out about the affair and how she found out about the affair. Like, he didn't even tell her about it. She found out about it through pictures that the fans sent her. So again, that's bringing back that parasitic intimacy that Ned had with his fan group. Because I would say Ned and Ariel had, but she'll go on here in a minute to explain. that it's Ned's fans that sent it to Ariel. And she's just kind of, it sounds like to me that she was just kind of along for the ride because she was Ned's wife. It doesn't sound like that she was really part of it, but I could be wrong. Again, I didn't watch this very much, but it sounds like she wasn't courting the fan group. She was just part of it because she was Ned's wife. But again, this was just another attempt of Ned's to kind of shift the focus back onto him.
It's like, for some reason, I didn't see what was actually there in the picture. I thought it was your sister. And I remember sending it to you and being like, what's your sister doing in New York? It was, and I think back on that and I think, like, what was I, like, how did I not see what was going on? Like, what was so fucked up in my brain that I couldn't actually see what was happening in this picture? Like, the picture was right there in front of me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then the pieces just started falling and falling and falling. And like,
it kind of makes me wonder though, because neither of them say this, but it does kind of make me wonder, like, when she sent that picture to Ned saying, you know, what's your sister doing here? Did Ned type back and try to play it off that was his sister? Like, because I don't know, but it feels like he might have tried. It just feels like that, which makes it even worse.
And
he just tries to gaslight his wife and to be like, oh yeah, that's totally my sister. Where the fuck did she get this picture? You know, I just like, is that what I don't know if that's what happened. I have no idea, but it's just like the way she kind of tells that story. I just feel like it might be what happened. She's like, what is your sister doing here? And he's like, oh shit. Yeah, that's totally my sister. She's totally visiting.
And then more pictures started coming in, and more pictures and more pictures and more pictures. And it is so wild how we live in this world where everything is so public. Like, you don't realize it, but everybody's taking pictures of you everywhere you go.
And this is an interesting moment for me because Ariel starts to describe her disillusionment with the fan base in that she starts to stop feeling safe around, or maybe she doesn't start feeling unsafe around the fan base, or maybe that fear of the fan base starts to really multiply here. And I found that to be very interesting and kind of tragic, honestly, that she didn't feel safe in her own space because of Ned's fan base and just social media in general, because of the amount of information that she was getting bombarded with because of Ned's fan base.
And it's kind of scary, actually. And it makes you realize that whenever you leave your house, you're like, you're not safe, you know? And it kind of like, and then after everything happened, I sort of went into this, like, this weird state where, like, nothing was safe, and nothing and nobody, like, I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't trust the public. I couldn't trust you. I couldn't trust my friends. I just stayed inside, like, because there were cameras everywhere. You know, it was like,
I think this is a really, I know in earlier in the videos, I was talking about how this is very traumatic for her. And I think this is the moment where Ned's betrayal becomes a traumatic event. It's not necessarily that Ned betrayed Ariel in that he cheated on her, right? People get cheated on every day, all day, because humans be humaning, and people are, you know, we're human, and that's what we do, apparently. It's the nature of who Ned was and the parasocial and parasitic relationships that Ned had with his fan base that overlapped onto Ariel. And that's what caused it to become traumatic for her, because she stopped feeling safe in her own spaces because of these relationships that the community, that Ned's community had with him. They start sending her videos of him, pictures of herself. They start following her around. They start taking pictures of her. And they've been doing it. It's just until this moment, it wasn't sinister. Or maybe it had been and she just hadn't really processed it that way. But now it starts to become, with the inclusion of Ned cheating and being found out to be cheating through his fan base, right? Through his audience. Now the full repercussions of that fan base being, up their asses 24/7. Now that's finally all coming down, and the reality of that is finally coming to fruition, right? She's finally like, Jesus Christ, these people are watching us all the time, right? And, she does go on to mention, like, I've got kids, I've got children, I've got myself, I'm not safe, they're not safe. That concept of not being safe, and all of this comes to light because Ned cheated. Right? And I think that's why this is traumatic, as opposed to, like, I don't know, if my partner cheated on me. No one gives two shits. Like, no one cares that much. I'll care. I'll make him care. But that's pretty much it. Right? But this becomes trauma theater. It becomes a traumatic spectacle, trauma theater that's being consumed by the audience. Because even for the audience that isn't participating in it, that isn't sending pictures, that isn't trying to record them, that isn't trying to follow them to their therapy sessions, people are consuming that. That's being captured, that's being published. These people are taking the pictures, they're putting it on the internet, they're sharing it on X or Twitter or whatever platforms they're using it on, right? They're making videos about it. There you go. And people are watching it, right? So it becomes a type of trauma theater. It becomes a type of spectacle. It's being consumed by the audience, and the viewers are becoming the witnesses of these private moments, and it becomes traumatic and disorienting for her. Are we participating in it right now? You damn right we are. How's that make you feel? Anyway, she goes on to describe her profound insecurity about this, and Ned plays it off. Ned plays it off because Ned is also participating in this. Ned set this up. Let us not forget how we even have this to react to. This is Ned. Ned put this together. Ned decided that this was how he was going to repay his debt to Ariel, was to have her on his podcast so that he could witness her, what did he call it? He could witness her pain. That's why we have this video. Ned is witnessing Ariel's pain while trying to co-opt her pain, co-opt her suffering, strategically make himself the victim, either alongside her or more than she is. This is why we even have this video in the first place. Let us not forget why we are even here. All right. Right.
Oh, it was so unsafe. Everything was unsafe.
I'm sorry. I had coffee.
Yeah, it took a long time to like get back to myself.
How did having it become such a public scandal kind of change everything for you? Did it make it worse? Did it make it easier? Did it just sort of make it surreal?
It was so many different things. And it was all tied in together too. I think that, and it all, it's like the trauma of discovering that that like everything that isn't real. And then add to it this other part where you're sort of being you're being watched by cameras, which isn't something that's like a part of our lives. Like, yes, we are somewhat public figures, but like we've never had cameras waiting outside of our house. Like that's not something that we're used to. Like we're not like celebrities. That's not that's not a part of our lives. And this was a period
In all honesty, in that moment, he did actually look uncomfortable.
in our lives where we had like there was like a car following us, and it was really strange because we had just found out that we were dealing with this with this cheating situation, with this betrayal. We decided
She's using a lot of we language, which I think is interesting here. We are dealing with this cheating situation. We are dealing with this betrayal. I think that's an interesting thing that she's using. We just found out. I find that an interesting type of language for her to be using because he knew this was happening. She just didn't. So I find that an interesting way of wording it on her end.
decided to find a new couples therapist, right?
Right.
And so we were driving to our new couples therapist, and so we were in the car together because we decided to drive together. And you decided you needed a snack, and so you had a Tupperware with you, and I had my jug of water, and we got in the car together because we were like, well, why don't we drive together? We're going to the same place. And so we get in the car, and we were driving there, and so you're like eating your apple as you're driving, and I turned to you and I was like, Ned, I think there's a car following us. Like I'm pretty sure this car has followed us from our house. And you were like, oh, that's weird. Like, I wonder what that could be, And then when we park outside of the couples therapist's office, and we see that this car has a camera, I was like, I think that person just took a picture of us. And so we went inside and we talked about it a little bit, and then we had our therapy session, and then we came out, and then there were multiple people outside, and it was probably one of the strangest situations that I personally have ever been in. I did not know what to do with my face. And so my reaction when I don't know what to do with my face is I smile.
Yeah.
That is my go-to reaction when I don't know what to do with my face. I just smile like an
That's an interesting thing because a lot of women are actually trained to do that. You just smile, just smile. Why are you frowning? How many women in your jobs have you been told, oh, you'd be prettier if you smiled, or just dudes will just walk up to you. Why aren't you smiling? Well, because I'm thinking about murdering you, for one. But that's an interesting thing for her to admit, that like her go-to reaction when she doesn't know what to do is to just smile, because like it makes you less threatening. And women are taught to be non-threatening, especially when it's towards men. And so it's very interesting for her to kind of admit that, like, I didn't know what to do with my face, so my go-to is to just smile. And I just find that an interesting admission, as opposed to, I don't know. I know there are lots of women who would have been like, I would have just walked over there and threatened him with his life and limb. That would have been my mother, to be perfectly honest with you. But I know there are women who will do that, but for the normal knee-jerk reaction that is usually beaten into us in society is to just be like, cool, thanks, gotta go, kind of a thing. And it sounds like that's what she was doing here.
Idiot.
That was my reaction too.
I smile like I.
Is that your smile?
Like a cat. I just smile. And so
this is the video that
everyone saw. And
like leaving couples therapy.
We're leaving couples therapy, looking at each other like we don't have a care in the world. And it is because we are absolutely just beyond like this is so bizarre. What is happening right now? This has never happened in our lives ever. We don't know what's going on. Like, let's just get to our car. And we're just like, just smile, like, they're not going to hurt us. Who are these people? Everything's fine. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That was the strangest situation. It was so bizarre.
I remember our neighbors during that time were doing some roof repair work. And so there was this like
There's like a construction
unmarked
van.
white van outside of our house, and it was parked there for like weeks. And we had it in our heads that it was a paparazzi van, and
It absolutely was not. But it was like the strangest thing. I thought,
just for weeks, anytime you walk out the door, being like, "Oh, there's a van."
yeah, that was really strange.
I can't imagine being that terrified of your neighbor. Well, not even your neighbors, but just of unmarked vehicles in your neighborhood being possible paparazzi. I find it interesting that in that last moment where she starts talking about how she felt with the paparazzi following her and how that was strange, you did start to see not irritation. You started to see anger, but it wasn't anger projected at her. It was anger towards the memory in Ned's head. So clearly that did bother Ned, that memory of all that stuff. And I can understand why. I mean, who wants to be stalked? I don't care. It's stalking. And nobody wants to be stalked, okay? So you could definitely see that bothered Ned. Those memories of the paparazzi bothered Ned. But just to kind of synthesize everything before we go to the next video, we've got the moral masking where Ned tries to reframe Ariel's anger as being justified throughout this healing process. And it's moral masking because Ned is telling Ariel that her anger is justified as if Ariel needs him to tell her that. She knows. She doesn't need Ned, of all people, to tell her that she has a right to be angry at him for doing this to her. Right? And so that's where the moral masking comes in. Ned is trying to make himself seem virtuous because he's allowing her to be mad. She doesn't need his permission. He's the one that effed up. She doesn't need his permission to be mad. But he wants to come off as being sympathetic, encouraging. And so that's why at one point he says, no, you have a right to be mad. Yeah, I know. Thanks. I didn't need you to tell me that. She doesn't say that, but she kind of gives him that look at one point. We do see him trying to play the strategic victimhood card. His overall discomfort at her multiple refusals to ever be with him again or forgive him, more importantly. He tries to center his pain at those refusals several times at the beginning of this video, which was around the 11 minute mark. And she won't let him. She continues to talk about her discomfort, her pain, her trauma, and she doesn't give him the footing that he needs to turn the story around on himself. And I think that was really interesting. I don't know if she knew that's what she was doing or if she's just done with him talking over her. Either way, it worked really well in that he never was able to get a foot in the door in order to be like, oh, but me. She was like, no, this is about me. This isn't about you. This is my story. And that was really interesting to watch. We have to go all the way back to remembering that, and this was all the way back at the very beginning where Ned was doing his apology in his kitchen, where it's just Ned and his whitewashed kitchen, where Ned says that, it's his burden to watch her pain. And that was his transactional altruism to his audience and to her. But her raw no, and just all of her pain in this moment, that is being staged in this moment and going forward as Ned's gift to Ariel. This whole podcast is Ned's gift to Ariel. And that's the transactional altruism here. He is giving her this moment on his podcast, on the channel that they built together, by the way. Ned stole this channel. This used to be their family channel. Ned took this channel and decided to make it his channel. So you see these 62.3K subscribers on here. That's because this used to be Ned and Ariel's family channel. Anyway, Ned decided to give Ariel this gift of being the first guest on his podcast so that she could get over her pain that he caused. Very nice of you, Ned. But the transaction here is, I'm guessing that she needs to move on, because that's kind of what was implied. In order for her to move on, he needs to witness her pain. So she can't move on unless she comes on your podcast and chews you out. That's what we're implying here. I've talked about the parasitic intimacy throughout this entire video, mostly around Ned and his intimacy with his own audience, in that Ned needs his audience more than Ariel does, and Ned's relationship with his audience turns out to be quite traumatic for Ariel. Not because she's like, oh my God, you love your audience more than you love me. It's because the relationship that Ned has with his audience turns parasitic when the betrayal, when the affair occurs. And Ariel gets caught in the crossfire of that, because she now becomes the focus of his audience because he's betrayed her. And then we've got Ned trying to control the conversation by trying to define things a certain way. He is constantly trying to define her anger as her inability to heal and to move on, even though, honestly, it sounds like she has. She's making friends, she's going out, she's doing things without him. So honestly, when you hear the two of them talking, the one that seems to be moving on and seems to actually have been starting to heal or healed sounds to be Ariel. And it sounds like Ned himself is the one that hasn't. Even though, again, this is Ned's gift to Ariel, it doesn't sound like Ned is the one that has done the healing here. And again, we talk about the self-mythologizing feedback loop, which requires that parasitic relationship with the audience. Ned is trying to recreate that relationship that he had with his audience in order to build his own image of himself with his relationship with his audience. He needs his audience's feedback to build his own image of himself, which is another reason why I think it's going to be really fascinating going forward to see what happens, because Ned is just bulldozing through this. He's just like, screw it. I'm reinventing myself, and if y'all don't like it, I don't care. I'm doing it. And I'm mildly fascinated by this. Like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna be a Led Zeppelin and fall to the ground? I don't know. I'm fascinated. If it does work, what is it gonna look like, and what does that say? Can you really recover from anything? And like, is Ned unredeemable? I suppose is where I'm going with this. Should Ned be allowed to be redeemed? Is he truly unforgivable? In her eyes, yes, but that's a totally different conversation, as you can see, that is being had here. Ned didn't cheat on me. You know, kind of a thing. Anyway, so if you have made it this far in this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and leave a camera, because I'm a dick. Go ahead and leave a little camera down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think down below. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think down below. I know this has taken me forever. I'm going to try to get the rest of these out. We are almost halfway through this damn video. We are going to make it, I promise you, because I want to cover the rest of the stuff that's been coming out about Ned Fulmer since this video, which is now 2 months old. We're going to do it, I promise. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please remember to leave a timestamp with your comment so that I know what the hell I said when I said it. I've got to remember to start saying that at the beginning of the damn videos. Anyway, your emoji is a little camera. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you, my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. Remember, if you are a member, you get early access to videos like these on this channel. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to see everybody in the next video. Thank you all, and goodbye.
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.